So I'm going to attempt to do some Danish cookery. Apparently, Danes have a kind of 3-day pudding at Christmas. Day 1 is rice pudding. Day 2 is something they make out of the rice pudding. Day 3, Christmas Day, is something they make out of the leftovers from that. Day 4 they get food poisoning. So day 1 is rice pudding, but Danish style. And hark at me, I'm doing Duolingo Danish, so now I feel like I'm an expert in all things Dane, even though I just got these off the internet and Wikipedia. So yeah, first one up is called Risengrød. That's just Danish for rice pudding, by the way. So there are only 4 ingredients in this. There's pudding rice, water, milk and salt. First things first, the very annoying website has given me everything in, I think, sort of American measurements. So kind of Euro-American. So it's either 2.25 deciliters of rice. I've no idea how big that is. I don't know what that means at all. Or 1 cup. I've got one of these things that sort of measures cups. It's got American cups and English cups, and they're not the same. American cups are smaller, would you believe? So I have to add to that 1/2 cup of water, 4 1/4 cups of milk, and a teaspoon of salt. I think a teaspoon is a teaspoon in any language. Well, that's a pain. I haven't got a cup in either English or American, so it's more like 2/3 of a cup. Okay. This should be easy, shouldn't it? So 2/3 of a cup. So I need to add 2/3 of 1/2 cup of water. That's about 12 cups, isn't it? Okay, so I've got in there a derisory amount of water cooking with the pudding rice. I'm now supposed to add to that, after it's boiling, boiling that, 2/3 of 4 1/4 cups of milk. Easy. It's alright. It's alright. That works out as 2/3 of a litre. So that would be 666 milliliters, I think. So that's 300 been added in there. So if you actually like rice pudding, as I do, you might have noticed from those 4 ingredients that there's nothing actually sweet in that. And that seems a bit weird, and the reason being, the way that they make it Danish style is that they make a separate cinnamon sugar thing, which is literally a mixture of cinnamon and sugar, and they sprinkle that on in vast quantities. I don't propose to do as much as that, but I'm going to make a cinnamon sugar thing that I'm going to put on there later. I'm still waiting for the milk to boil before I add the remaining milliliters to make it 666. So all the milk is in there now, and let me read the instructions. Step 1, pour the water and the rice into a large saucepan, add salt, heat it up and let it boil for about 2 minutes. I forgot the salt, better add that now. Step 2, pour the milk into the saucepan and boil it while stirring. Sort of did that. Step 3, let the rice pudding boil lightly for about 35 minutes. 35 minutes? Under a lid. Remember to stir in the pudding regularly so that the rice don't burn to the bottom of the saucepan. I think this might be translated. Step 4, make some cinnamon sugar. Okay, by mixing the sugar and cinnamon in a small bowl. Right, okay, better put that salt in. It is, it's not really boiling yet, but it is still sticking to the bottom quite successfully. Okay, I'm now boiling it lightly. I've got it on a sort of simmer heat underneath this lid. we've got another 25 minutes to go on it. I feel a bit trapped in the kitchen now by this, because if I leave this for more than a second, I think it's just going to boil over and burn the place down, or else I'm going to be left with rice pudding sticky mixture everywhere and a really horrible burning smell. So I can't like go away from this by more than about a yard. I went away to go on to fetch, of course, and while I was away it boiled over. Bit of a mess really. I've got it on the absolute lowest heat, and I had the lid on it. God knows how you're supposed to stop this thing drying up in 35 minutes of cooking. It's at nearly 30 now, and I think it's done really. There's the rice pudding in its serving bowl. The recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of sugar with how much? With a tablespoon of cinnamon for this. Now I am using smaller quantities, but also that seems outrageous as well, so I'm going to make a smaller amount of cinnamon sugar. Here's the finished product. You put a knob of butter on there. It's got cinnamon sugar sprinkled on there. I'm going to have a little bit of that in there. That's really nice. It is pretty cinnamony, but the kind of cinnamon and sugar offset each other somewhat really. So some of the rice pudding mixture that I've got, I am going to make risengrød, however you pronounce that, might be the right pronunciation but very unlikely, which is a cold dish that you make with rice pudding and cream and almonds. I'm going to make that tomorrow, and then the day after that I will make rice pudding pancakes.